Hey guys, it's Gawain, and today we're going to be taking a look at one of the best trap operators on defense, Thorn. Thorn is a 2-speed, 2-armor defense operator that specializes in traps and intel gathering. Thorn has good guns, secondary gadgets, and a decent primary gadget too. Good Thorn players will know how to position and play off their gadget to get kills from both her gadget and her guns easily throughout the round. Let's learn how to play her. Thorn is equipped with her laceration charges, of which she gets 3. These are small traps that, when triggered, will take 2.5 seconds to explode and release a cluster of sharp objects in all directions, damaging and sometimes killing the enemy. They take 5 seconds to arm themselves when deployed, and take 2.5 seconds to explode after triggering. When an enemy comes into the 3.5 meter radius of the trap, it will activate, giving off a distinct sound cue to alert the enemy to the trap's presence and wind up time. There will also be an icon on everyone within the blast radius's screen to warn them of the trap, similar to a frag grenade warning. The damage drop-off is quite drastic when outside of the 3.5 meter proximity radius, but inside, it's lethal. Whilst these traps can kill and do damage, it is unlikely they will kill very often unless placed in clever places or in succession with one another, so using their sound cue to alert you to the enemy's position is a better use. Playing off these traps like an Elamine in the sense that you wait for the sound cue and pounce on the enemy to hopefully catch them in a panic whilst they try to run away from your trap is a great way to use your Razor Bloom shells. This way the enemy is basically forced to pick if they want to die to you or the Razor Bloom, and even if they do manage to slip away, they will be heavily damaged. Placement is everything with your laceration charges, as they emit a bright glow which will alert the enemy to their position if not concealed properly. The basic and standard positions, such as above doorways, at the tops of staircases, and underneath a window jump in, are all very effective, as they make the enemy either look for your trap or cause them to move out the way quickly because they know they're going to die otherwise. During this time you can shoot the enemy that only has one thing on their mind: get out of the radius of the shell. Get creative with it. Place your gadgets underneath desks, in bookcases, in tight spots, even in the floorboards that you can shoot out. Try placing 2 in succession, so as one activates, the enemy will hopefully run into the next one, forcing them into the position so far from where they want to be, they turn around, try to run back and die from the first one, or you can shoot them to pick up the kill. My favourite spot for this is stock trading on bank top floor. I place one in between the double windows and one on the final desk to really try to push them into a poor position. To summarise, Thorn gets 3 gadgets with such a high razor blade count inside of them that only American Halloween candy can compete with them. They have a relatively long arm and detonation time, so are unlikely to get consistent kills from them directly unless you get creative with their placements and play off their sound cues with your gun too. Thorn's primary weapon options are the UZK-50GI submachine gun and the M870 shotgun. Her secondary weapon options are the 1911 TAC Ops handgun and the C75 auto machine pistol. I personally run the UZK-50GI paired with the C75 auto. The UZK, more commonly known as the Uzi, is a very reliable weapon. It's got a great damage stat with an average fire rate. It's also got pretty easy to control recoil, as there isn't much vertical climb, but there is a bit of horizontal zigzag which can be a bit tricky at range, but once you get used to it you don't really notice it. Every scope up to the 1.5 times is available too, so I'm sure you fragging maniacs out there will love this gun. Something else worth noting is that this SMG has increased soft destruction, making it easy to break one layer of the floorboards to fit your laceration pods into for a sneaky hiding place. As you can tell, the Uzi is a strong gun that is easy to use but also offers some utility in a bit of soft destruction. The M870 is one of the best shotguns in the game, so it's a good alternative to the Uzi if you're playing on close quarters maps or plan on playing tight angles near your razor blooms, so when the enemy runs away in a panic you can one pump them as they go past you. It's generally just a good shotgun with a fast pump cycle and a hard hitting damage stat, with the added bonus of being able to do sight setup with it too. It's up to you which primary weapon you choose. I personally go for the UZK, but both can be very good for Thorn. The C75 auto is probably my most hated secondary gun in Siege because of its stupid Lego brick like an iron sight, but other than that, it is a good secondary with a good fire rate and damage stat. The 1911 TAC Ops is an alright pistol that's let down by its low mag size and low semi-automatic fire rate, but that being said, it does have a decent damage stat. I'd go for the C75, especially if you're running the M870, but it is up to you. In terms of secondary gadgets, Thorn gets access to a singular deployable shield or 2 barbed wire. Both of these gadgets can be used in combination with your primary gadgets to make enemies more likely to take damage or die to them. The deployable shield is probably my favourite secondary gadget on defense, so I tend to prefer using this thing with Thorn. You can use it in the traditional sense, playing behind it and peeking through the slits before popping up and killing the enemy, or using it to lock the enemy in an animation whilst they try to escape your laceration charge that's about to explode. Barbed wire is better for combining with your razor blooms as they actively slow the enemy down. This makes it a hell of a lot harder for the enemy to run away from the explosion, making you more likely to pick up a kill from it when both are placed in the right position. It's completely up to you which secondary gadget you choose, as both work very well for Thorn. To start the prep phase, you want to place down your razor blade bombs in positions that you can play off, get intel from, and maybe pick up a kill from when the enemy makes a huge misplay. Don't be afraid to experiment with positions or combine it with your secondary gadget, as it is there to supplement your primary one after all. If you have time, reinforce a wall or two and decide if you plan on roaming or anchoring during the action phase. Thorn is a decent anchor, as playing off your traps that are close or inside of sight when the enemy runs into them can be very useful, but Thorn can be a powerful roaming presence too. You can play above or below sight, with or without your traps, to maintain map control. To start with, note where your traps are and stay relatively close to them, but don't be afraid to move away from them and rotate around the map as time moves on. Hopefully, an anchoring teammate will give you calls whilst they're on cams to allow you to pick up a kill based off that intel. When one of your traps goes off, quickly swing the angle if you're nearby to shoot the enemy that is in a panic whilst running away from it. Call out to your team the position of enemies that trigger your shells to hopefully allow them to play off the trap that is going off in the same way you play off the traps. If the diffuser ends up going down, then rotate back to the site to hopefully pick up another kill or two, but don't worry if you die, because your traps still have the chance of killing an enemy, allowing your teammate to defuse in time to win the round. Thorn has a few counters: Twitch, Zero, Brava, IQ, EMPs, bullets, and explosives. Twitch and Zero both have lasers on their camera feeds that allow them to zap your razor blooms and delete them from the map. To prevent this, try and shoot out the cams before they can destroy your gadgets, but odds are you won't be playing in the same room as your traps, so there won't be anything you can do about it. Brava can hack your shells to work against defenders, so again, try shooting the drone out before the hack is complete, but odds are you won't be able to. IQ can detect your laceration charges through surfaces and shoot them out through soft ones, making it very easy for her to clear your traps. To prevent this, hunt down the IQ and kill her before she can destroy your traps. EMPs can disable your traps so they don't work temporarily, but they won't be the target for the EMPs, as they are usually reserved for disabling wall denial. This being said, there's not much you can do about EMPs other than positioning your pods away from the walls that are commonly EMP'd. Bullets and explosives can destroy your razor blooms instantly, even whilst they charge up to detonate, so placing them in creative spots is vital to not getting them destroyed. Place your laceration charges in concealed locations so enemies are less likely to spot them and then shoot them out, and more likely to die to them or the position you force them into. Use the UZK for a good roaming and fragging weapon that is good at most ranges and won't let you down. Play off your trap's sound cues, so even if the explosion doesn't kill the attacker, you are likely to pick up the kill with your guns as you swing them. Use either the deployable shield or the barbed wire to slow the attackers down whilst your razor blooms go off, so they are more likely to die from them. Learning good spots to place your gadgets where they are likely to get value on their own, as well as spots that you can play off, is vital to playing Thorn, so experiment. Overall, Thorn is an easy operator to play in my opinion, as she has a very straightforward kit with easy to use gadgets and guns that all complement one another. Learn where to place your traps for the most value, how to play off your traps effectively, which secondary gadgets suit you best, and you are sure to become a pretty decent Thorn player. Thank you all for watching, I do hope you enjoyed. If you found this video helpful in any way, shape or form, please do consider subscribing and sharing it with your friends, as it does help grow the channel, which is very much appreciated. As always, most of the clips you saw in this video were taken from my Twitch stream, link will be on screen in the description. Thinker is next for the Siege series, and I will see you all in the next one. Goodbye.